Greetings, family. Greetings, and welcome to the Art of Rising. What we're doing here is we're exploring the transformation, the leadership, and the rise of consciousness from various people from the world, and seeing how is it that they're shaping their lives and the lives of other people. So we are proud to sit with a very powerful brother right here. His name is Eric Rodell. And yeah, I'll just allow him to introduce himself and tell us where he lives. And please, brother, tell us what you're doing with yourself these days.
Sure. I appreciate that, man. Thank you, Omar. And listen, it's an honor to be here. Really appreciate you inviting me on. I live in South Florida. I've been down here for 35 years, grew up in New York, right outside New York City.
I knew it.
What I'm doing now is I do a lot of speaking. I'm a lot of writing. I'm an author. My latest book is Lions Raised as Lambs, and it's all about the journey we go through as men. And so many men who have been raised like I was, raised to be soft, raised to be quiet, but know they have that lion inside them that they've denied or was told was wrong. So that book is about that journey of all of us, many of us. Who've gone from being raised as lambs to getting to that inner lion. So it's a great book. I'll have to send you a copy. And
I love them. Thank you.
But yeah, it was a #1 bestseller on Amazon in 4 different categories.
I saw that.
I'm also a documentary filmmaker. So I do documentaries on greatness, on celebrating greatness and educating people about what's going on in the world. So I do that as well. And then I have something besides my speaking. I speak to a lot of corporations, a lot of private groups and organizations. I do that. I also have a thing called the Lionheart Challenge, which is a 30-day challenge for men, which every day you get an email that gives you a new challenge for that day, something that's going to move you forward on the path. And it includes all the really great foundational things in my work, which includes the sacred 7 core values: courage, honesty, integrity, commitment, duty, honor, and love. The 4 foundational archetypes: the warrior, the lover, the king, and the hero, and how to step into each of those. So it's really a phenomenal way to do this on your own as a man. There's a community you can get involved in. And I have a group called the Bold Men Brotherhood. We meet once a week. And it's just a great group of men who want to be the best men that they can be. And we pick a topic every week. We discuss it and we move men forward. So, yeah, a lot of different stuff going on, but all towards the same goal of getting men to be their natural, right order, masculine king and bring that down through the generations.
Yeah, I know that we do live in a society now. I'm totally with you, brother. The society now, it's just there's some words that I could say they wouldn't be very nice. It's just like that. But it took me a while, Eric, to wake up on these things and to realize in some, and then then I had to find the drive to be consistent and to keep moving forward. So perhaps you can tell us a little bit about that. What drives you? How do you drive other men to let's go get it?
Yeah. Well, for me, one of the things is, and I tell the story and it's in the book too, is, I was raised by a single mother, and, I talk about all the things that at the beginning, the feeling was for me was all these things she did to me. Right. She made me soft. She made me quiet. She made me deny that beast, that lion that was inside of me. But the thing is, she did the best she could with the tools she had at the time. And all she was doing was trying to protect me. So, stay inside. Don't go outside. Don't play sports. You're going to get hurt. Don't do this. This is going to happen. Everyone's out to get you. Everything's going to kill you. That was her interpretation of the world. That was the lens she looked through. And so she imprinted that on me. And as I got older, I realized it just doesn't feel right. There's something inside me that's telling me there's more to me, right? And we call it the beast that's inside. And as I started to get older and it started to come out more and more, and I was told more and more that it was wrong. Oh, don't get angry. Don't get, too much. It's too much. You got to calm it down. The more I realized something's not right here. And so I went on a quest to find good men, good mentors who could show me the way, teach me the path. And I wasn't as aware of it at the time. It was just kind of an intuition that took me down that path. And I got involved in a lot of stuff like martial arts and sports and, meeting men who were very successful. And, about a little over a decade ago, I met a man named Rob James, and Rob is my co-author in the book. And the book is an allegory of a young lion cub who was raised by sheep, and then a warrior lion who was his father's protector finds him and raises him to be a warrior lion and a king. And Rob was that for me. He was raised completely different than I was. He was raised from 10 years old. His father took him to the local cattle rancher and said, my son's going to work for you, make him a man. When he turned 18, he went into the Marines, and he learned in the Marines, his masculine. And so he was my mentor. He became my mentor. And I learned what it meant to be a good man and to be a masculine man, and to not deny that part of me, but to embrace it and accept it, but use it in the right way. Because I always say masculinity isn't toxic. When I hear the term toxic masculinity, I get because masculinity is the most beautiful thing on the planet. It is an amazing thing that we have. And what I say is it's really just misunderstood, misused, and mistaught. Right. And we have to teach young men and adult men like us how to really, like I said, embrace that masculine side of us and use it in a positive manner. Once you can do that, and you can, command that beast that's inside you and let it out when it's necessary, but hold it under command, it's just an amazing, amazing thing. So I felt that myself. With Rob, I was able to experience that, and knowing that there are a lot of men out there who were raised the way that I was, and a lot of younger men who are just craving something, who don't understand, being told by society that who they are and the natural part of them is wrong. That's just insanity.
Yeah, it's insanity. It does. It goes against everything that our very nature.
Yeah, of course. And this is why these poor young men are so confused and have dropped out of society and just given up and said, I can't, I don't know what to do. So they're just, listen, I'm sure the studies have shown all of this stuff is down in men. Young men, testosterone levels are down, sperm counts are down, sperm motility is down. Most of these men at 25 have the sperm count and testosterone level of men in their 60s because they're just not out there being natural. They're on the couch playing video games, smoking pot. They've given up. They're not going to college. They're not getting jobs. They're not dating. They're not getting married because they've been told for so long that who they are naturally is wrong. And that's criminal. So that's what drives me. That's what drives me is we've got to get out there and mentor. And it really is about mentorship, Omar. It's good men have to get out, find these young men, or make themselves available to these young men if they're out there searching, and guide them, get them on the path, show them what it is to be a natural man and that masculinity, use it, in the proper way, and show them that there's nothing wrong with it. So that's really what drives me, because we're losing generations of men right now.
Yes, as we speak. It makes me think of Stephen Kotler writes one book that I read called Stealing Fire. And he talks about Prometheus. Prometheus was the one who stole fire from the gods and gave it to humans. And he goes on to say, what is that fire? The fire is the thing that burns inside of you. That's what it is. Yeah. Like for you to go get it, like you need to like stoke it. Let's go. Start. Yeah.
There's no passion in this in men anymore. There's no passion because when men get passionate, right? Like if I start talking like this and I am passionate about what's going on, there is a number of people who get very afraid of that. They're like, oh, he's angry. What's going on over there? So we tend to hide it. And now you've got generations. And I know for me, it was that way for myself. I was dead. I was literally like numbed out to the point where I couldn't feel anything. Like there was no highs, there was no lows, there was no joy, there was no sadness, just all the same. because I just felt like I had to be this like level. I couldn't get passionate. And then I met Rob, and he's the most passionate guy I know, and he's like all the time. And I'm like, whoa, that is intense.
Right. What was
intensity that burns so bright, and what we've lost, and what I see in these men these days, there just is no passion. We've got to get the passion back.
Right. Was he the one that put that fire under your ass?
Oh yeah. Oh, trust me when I tell you, if you, and I always tell men, like, if you find a mentor who just like is your friend, and just tells you all the good stuff and doesn't tell you anything, leave him immediately. You need to find men, and not only mentors, but just men around you who will put their boot in your ass when you need it, who will tell you the things that maybe you don't want to hear, but you need to hear. And I will tell you, Rob has put his boot in my ass so many times, but it's always out of love. It's what we call the guardian, and the guardian has a heart. Right? And it's got to be love. It's because he wants to keep me on the path. He doesn't want to see me fade back over to here. Right. So it's that intensity. And yes, he is the one. And I use him as a model because I see how he gets. And listen, I'll say this, and I've actually written articles on this and had people get, offended by it. And there's no reason to get offended by it. But, he has told me, and I firmly believe this, that anger is the pivot point to passion. Getting angry and allowing yourself to be angry. And again, this was my upbringing. I was told anger was wrong. Don't be angry. Anger is scary, and anger is out of control, and anger means you don't have, command over yourself. That's all nonsense. Anger is necessary. If you're pissed off about something, get pissed off about it. Because getting that pissed off about it is your pivot point into passion. I'm pissed off about people saying toxic masculinity. I'm pissed off what's happening to young men today. I'm pissed off that I lived 40 years of my life numbed out. I am pissed off, and that gives me the passion to do what I do. It's that anger that turns into passion that drives me. So, I mean, I don't know if you feel that in your life. That's just the way that.
Well, I can tell you right now, Eric, that only when I'm really super pissed off is when things really, really happen. Not just like move the cup over to the sink type of stuff, but like getting things done. Like, so who we are here is the Omziel Healing Sanctuary. We're located in North Bergen, New Jersey. I'm from Brooklyn. I was born in Manhattan. This is a Brooklyn accent, by the way, right? You already know. That's why when I heard you, I went, "Oh, this guy's from New York. Come on, man!" You just pick that up. And there's so many different cultures here and so many things. But one of the things that they try to push into you is just that, like, take it easy, don't get so upset, don't get crazy, and then nothing's getting done around here. So here at the Omziel Healing Sanctuary, one of the things, our staple, is the breath work with the ice plunge. And we push men and other women too, it's a co-ed thing also, but we push people in the water. We push them to that point there. Well, it's very, very uncomfortable and super, super difficult. And that is, Eric, when they wake up, man, if I had a nickel for every time I heard somebody tell me, like, man, you helped me so much. You changed my life, man,
Yeah.
So,
well,
I
it's
see that you're doing the same.
Yeah. And it's how you do it, right? I mean, I love the ice plunge. I've done them. They're fantastic. They get you out there. It's the discomfort that's so important, right? Our comfort zone, that's your enemy. Your comfort zone's your enemy. If you're just comfortable, right? Now, as men, one of the things we do is we go out, right? I talk about the warrior, the lover, the king, the hero. So the warrior side of us, which is men, we have the warrior and the lover in us. I call it the lion and the heart, right? So lion-hearted. I tell men live lion-hearted. So the lion, your warrior. That's the side of us that's adventurous, exploration, risk-taking, all that. We want to go out. Men have always done this. Since the beginning of time, we go out, we explore, we conquer new lands, right? That's what we want to do. We want to go out. The lover side of us, the heart side of us, that's the maintenance force that wants to hold us where we are. And that maintenance force wants to keep us. This is cool. It's right. I like this right here. Why do we have to go anywhere? Like we have We built our huts. We've got our food. We've got, fire. We've got whatever we need. We don't need to go anywhere. But that other side of us, that warrior side of us, wants to push out. And that comfort zone keeps us in the known. This is all I know right here. And I'm okay with just knowing this. But once you get out of that comfort zone, you go into the unknown. You're like, oh my God, this is really cool. I'm learning new things, right? So you don't learn in the comfort zone. You don't get stronger in the comfort zone. You don't push your limits in the comfort zone. You don't understand what you can do. And with the plunge is an example of people thinking, oh, it's going to be too cold and I'm going to freak out. And it's going to be this. And you survive it. And you're like, oh, shit, I did it. And I made it. And and I know I can do that now. What else can I do? Right. And that's really where it comes from. And that's part of the thing is, getting into discomfort, and part of the Lionheart challenge, we have a discomfort day where part of the challenge for that day is do something that makes you uncomfortable. It could be talk to a stranger. It could be make a sales call. It could be have a conversation with a family member that needs to happen that you've been putting off because you don't want to hurt their feelings, right? So it's something like that. Once you get past that, you're like, shit, I can do anything. That's why it's so important to get uncomfortable. Do things that scare you, set goals that push you, set goals that make you become more than you are right now. Because comfort is just a slow decline.
Yeah.
Comfort just lulls you to sleep. So you want to get out of that comfort zone.
Yeah, definitely. For me, Eric, I run every day. I try to. I do about 7 miles a day. I could go 7 days. It's not easy. I don't say that easily, and I don't say it's a brag. But I tell you right now that one of the reasons why I do that and other things is just for the mindset. Is to tell my body like it's time to go now. My mind. I'm the one in charge here. Let's go. Not negotiate. It's cold outside. You ran yesterday, and stuff like that. So that's what the ice has to do with it too. And I was wondering, Eric, how is it that you personally continue to keep yourself sharp, and what are your daily practices and your atomic habits?
Well, listen, we have so the work that I do, the Lionheart Challenge, the Bold Men Brotherhood, the coaching, the speaking, all of that derives from, like I said, my mentor, Rob James, who co-wrote the book. He has a strategy, we'll call it a strategy. It's called Self-Discovery Life Mastery. I have never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything better in all my years of searching, right? Seeking. And it's because he was a cowboy and a Marine. It's very direct. It's very like, we're not going to mess around. We're just getting right to the core of your shit, and we're going to flush it out. And here we go. And we have a daily practice. So it involves breath work, and it involves, intentions. It involves getting very still. So it's dynamic and stillness. So there's dynamism and stillness. And, the dynamism helps flush shadow out, helps get these things moving, helps, all the little things get going. And then the stillness is connecting to source, right? And we need to do that. And you can call source whatever you want, the universe, source, God, whatever. And we connect, and it's very, deliberate and very well structured. And I have never experienced anything like it. So I do that. That's a morning thing for me, which roughly about, I would say minimum half hour, 45 minutes. I got back from a vacation on Monday, flew in early Monday, and I did 4 hours of it when I got home. Just laid on the couch and did 4 hours of breathing and intention and connecting to still, to source. So that's an everyday thing for me. If I don't connect to silence, to source, I don't feel as good. So that's an everyday thing for me. The other thing for me, in terms of what do I do? I have an intention every morning, right? So I have a journal page, which I'm happy to send to you too. I think you'd really enjoy it. It's called the King's Daily Blueprint. Okay. So every day I have an intention. So what's my intention for that day? And then I have my high five, we call them. What are my 5 things to accomplish that day? A little thing with notes. And I have, the sacred 7 core values: courage, honesty, integrity, commitment, duty, honor, and love. And I make sure I live within those 7 every day. I got to show courage, got to be honest, mostly to myself and to others. That keeps me in integrity, right? Same man in public as I am in private. Like if I'm telling you this now, Omar, it's got to be, anyone who's in my community can see this and they know if it's bullshit or not. They will call me on it if they think I'm bullshitting. Commitment to myself and to others, and then my duty to honor love, right? My duty to people around me, to honor them and to honor love and to live with them. So I have that every day. Warrior, lover, king, hero, making sure I'm living as a king, which is my warrior, my lover are integrated. We can talk more about that later. But I have this sheet, and at the beginning, like I said, my intention. So I do my practice, and then what is my intention for the day? And my intention most days is move at least one man forward. However that is, right? If it's a one-on-one, if it's somebody I meet at the supermarket that I have a conversation with, but move at least one man forward every day. And however that looks. And then there may be an additional intention, like, or a goal that I have for that day, write a new article, write a new email, put something in, post something on social media. So I do that every day. And then, I do my 5, have the intentions, do all of that. And then at the end of the day, I have something that's, and by the way, I try to go to the gym or work out or move every day. So right before we came on, I just finished the gym, changed my shirt and ran over here, right? I got to get to the gym every day. I'm 60. I'll be 60 years old this week, this month.
Amazing.
I'll be 60 years old. And I feel better than I did when I was in my 30s, right? Clearing everything out. It's the mental stuff, getting the practice in and getting the body, the physical moving. So I get that done. And then at the end of the day, we have something we call the 1-minute hero habit. The 1-minute hero habit is, and I tell the guys that are in my community to do this, is you set a timer for 60 seconds. And in 60 seconds, you write down all your wins for the day. It could be anything, Omar. It could be like today. I did this great podcast with a great guy that I met, and had an amazing conversation with. That's a win. It could be I got to the gym today, or I had that conversation with a family member that needed to happen. Could be I got a great parking spot at the supermarket. Doesn't matter. Whatever that win is for you, right? Write them all down in 60 seconds. And if you have anything that was a challenge, and I say a challenge, not a mistake, not a loss, not an error, because everything happens for a reason. You got something that didn't go the way that you wanted it to go that day. Write that down too, and write down 2 or 3 lessons you learned from it. So if that sales call didn't go well, all right, why? Was I too, eager? Was I too needy? Did I not have the right information for them? So that way it becomes a learn. So we don't have wins and losses. We have wins and learns. At the end of the day, 60 seconds, everyone's got 60 seconds at the end of the day. You now know what all your wins are, and you can go back and go, well, shit, I had a pretty good day. Because usually that one thing that goes wrong will take us down for the day. Like, oh, shit, that happened. I can't believe that happened. No, I can read it. I go, all right, what did I learn from it? And here are the other wins that I had today. So now I end the day going, man, I had a winning day. I'm a winner, man. I won it. And the next morning you can read it again before you start your next day. And you're like, all right, shit, here's what I did yesterday. I'm ready to go today. Right? So those are the things that I do on a daily basis that keep me going. It's important to me to have those specific things in my life. And like I said, the high 5. So I know what goals I'm going to accomplish for the day, what action steps I'm taking to make my goals work. Because without that, we're just,
right.
We're untethered. We don't know where we're going. So those things anchor me.
That's wow, that's genius, man. I love it. And Eric, the other day I bought a lamp, and the lamp came with a remote control. And I'm like, is that where we're at here, that we can't even get up and oh my God, it's just nuts, man. It's just crazy. So I love that tracking system that you guys got going. And and what do you think is really, the dark side of where we're going with this comfort, especially in this country, which this country is like, this is just one big opportunity that we're living in here, bro. And people are just like sitting on it. Like,
Yeah, it hurts me. It really does. I see young men who have such incredible talent and incredible potential. And they're just, like you said, comfort. They're just like, well, fuck it. I'm just going to, sit on the couch, use my remote, turn the lamp on and off. Right? Use my remote to binge watch a series on Netflix or.
Mm-hmm.
I love these, like I said, I produce documentaries and I love to see the nature documentaries. And I'm like, you should watch the nature documentaries and be inspired to go out there and experience it rather than what I see is, oh, I just can watch it on TV. I don't need to go outside. That stuff hurts me. It's really painful. And I think, there's a great saying, and, guys have brought this up to me. I've brought it up in my talks and on podcasts. I don't know who said it first. So guys in the comments, if you could just, let me know who it was. And I'm sure you know this one, Omar, where it says, bad times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create bad times. And it's just that circle that goes around and around. It's cyclical. And what I think right now is we're in that time where good times have created weak men, right? We have everything can be done for us comfort. Like you said, we can get to a comfort level. It used to be, you didn't go outside and work the land. You didn't eat. You didn't hunt or fish. You didn't eat. You had to go out there and get it. Now everything, all, DoorDash or Uber Eats and have stuff delivered to your house.
Yep.
Crazy. So, it's gone beyond comfort. You can have everything fed to you. And I think that is going to create bad times. And I see it coming because, look, I lead off my book with an amazing quote by an amazing man. And it's Ralph Waldo Emerson. He said, societies everywhere are in conspiracy against the masculinity or against the manhood of every one of its members.
Ooh.
And that came from his book, which was an essay of self-reliance. And I believe it was in 1873, he said it, somewhere in the 1800s. In the 1870s.
Wow.
That's over like almost 180 years ago, right? And he said that then. And he also said, the end of the human race is going to be that we became overly civilized. And that's what I feel is happening right now. And so men are becoming overly civilized. They're becoming gentle men, right? They're not dangerous anymore, right? Men need to be dangerous, right? The best kind of man out there, when you say about a good man, dangerous man.
Right.
Has it under command, right? But he could if he needed to. That's that beast that we talk about.
Yeah, the warrior in the garden, right?
Right, the guardian, right? The warrior in the garden, the warrior, the heart of the guardian, and we've lost that. And I think, to me, the reason why Emerson said this is because he was looking at if society sees a strong, dangerous, independent man, that is the scariest thing to society because they can no longer control you. And that's what they want. They want compliance. They want to be able to control you. They want you to do what they say. They don't want you to rise up against them.
Right.
They want you soft. And that's what I see happening right now. And, when there's no more warriors and there's no one left to fight. None. And so to me, that is where we are right now. That's the darkness that we're living in, is that most people don't understand that that's being done systematically. And it's not just now. You can't just say, oh, well, it's this political party or that political party. Emerson saw this almost 200 years ago. He said,
right.
And it is where we are right now. So we as men and as good men need to go find these young men and shake them out of the stupor, really shake them out of the stupor and get them moving forward. Yeah. Because that's the only way we're going to get out of this, because I see, and I'm not the only one who sees it, this decline where, once men are complacent and compliant, which they pretty much are right now. We said at the beginning of the show, testosterone levels are down. How do you fight without testosterone? How do you stand up for yourself without testosterone?
Right.
Men, we need this. It's part of what makes us who we are. And it's
Right.
declining. And that to me is the scariest thing right now.
I was seeing one study where they said that the porn now is just like it's super rampant. Before you had to like find it and look for it and pay for it. Now it's free.
Yeah.
And what they're doing systematically is just breaking the man down, breaking the family structure, his leadership skills. That's one of the powerful tools that they have to keep him distracted, every little shiny object.
Yeah, sure. And he no longer has to hunt. And when I say hunt, women are attracted to, well, just let me say women, females in any group, animal group, more animals, right? Females in any animal group are attracted to the alpha, right? Because they want those genes passed on.
That's
So
right.
the strongest, the brightest, the best leaders, whatever that definition of alpha is in that group, women are attracted to. So men, we had to become the best men that we could be. We had to become alphas for women to be attracted to us. So we had to be successful in every area of our life, right? So we had to provide. We had to hunt. We had to become successful businessmen. We had to be physically strong. We had to be mentally strong.
And lead also, right?
And lead, right? We had to be leaders in order for women to become attracted. That's what attracts women. And now with porn, right, the way that it is, because it is so pervasive, young men no longer have to become that to attract a woman. They can just go online, see the woman, internalize it mentally, and get satisfied by that. If that wasn't available, they'd have to go find somebody.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and work on themselves too.
Right, exactly. They have to become that attractive man. It's interesting. I say this to men all the time. It's they'll look at, for example, like the CEO of a company who may be older and not that physically attractive, but he always has this beautiful wife, and they're like, "Oh, it's got to be his money." It's like, no, man, it's not his money. Money is the byproduct of who he is. Right? Celebrities, athletes, musicians, CEOs, highly successful men. The money is just an outcome of who they're being, right? And she sees who he is being, and he is that alpha, that leader, that success, the one that other men look up to. That's what she wants to be with. For many of them, it's not about the money. It's what he is. And men don't have to be that anymore because you have, all of this kind of stuff. You're doing everything virtually now. Right? And AI can create you the perfect girlfriend that you can look at pictures of and your own animations of and do all of that. So there's no drive anymore. We've lost the drive and the ambition.
Yeah. For me, every time I hear that little voice, the roommate in the head that tells me, "Oh, don't do that," "Oh, you did it yesterday and take it easy," I go, "Thank you. Now I know I have to do it."
Yes.
Whether it's washing the dishes or training my body or creating a program for men to rise, like whatever it is, man, I'm on it. Yeah, there's times when I just, it's just okay. Let me just sleep. I'm rest. I gotta rest.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say is what you're saying is, it's our ego, and our ego is our enemy. This is our enemy. Like this thing is not your friend. We think it is. We think, the intellect is telling us, don't do that. You don't need to be this. You don't need to be that. This is what we need to pay attention to. The heart is where, the guidance system is. This is trying to protect us, right? The ego is just trying to protect itself. That's that comfort. That's that, oh, no, stay here. We're good. This is good. Right. And that's the limiting ego. We have a healthy ego, which is, I'm greatness. I was meant for greatness. I'm going to, achieve incredible things. If I didn't have a massive ego, I wouldn't have said okay to coming on this show.
Thank you.
Sitting here with you, I got to have a certain amount of ego to get on stage and speak, to be in groups with men. That's the healthy ego. This thing that tells you, oh, you don't need to get up and run today. You don't need to do another 7 miles. You did 7 miles yesterday. What are you doing 7 miles today? That's the one that wants to keep us small and keep us limited. And that's the one that gets influenced by what's going on in society. And we're no longer independent because we're not thinking independently. We're not thinking and taking actions to be strong, independent men. We're like, oh, oh, they said that's bad, or somebody said I shouldn't do this, or mama said, don't run again today. It's so hard. You're going to hurt your knee. And we get enrolled in that. And it's that enrollment that society has and the people around us that gets us down. And that's why I say, like, don't listen to this. Don't listen to the people around you that are naysayers that say, like, listen, Omar, you can't have a shoe. Who do you think you are having a podcast that people are going to listen to? No one's going to. You have to be, hey, that's your own limiting belief. That's based on, you're just talking to yourself right now. It's just a mirror for you. And you're just talking to yourself right now. And you're just telling yourself all the reasons why you didn't do it. I'm not going to listen. I'm listening to this. Right. And that's where men have to be letting go of that ego. And listen, this was the hardest lesson I had to learn. And it still runs me sometimes. That's part of the thing Rob kicks me in the ass about. You're letting your ego drive this. You're doing this out of ego, not out of purpose. Right? Not out of purpose. And so, that's part of the thing of not listening to what's going on in here and listening to what's going on in here.
Right. Yeah, I do have a few, very few, what I would say really deep friends, guys that I keep around me. I can count them on one hand. But I have this one brother that when I start doing things, like I started the podcast, and the first thing he told me, why are you doing it for? And I was like, oh shit, okay, let's figure this out. Are you just doing it just to, show everybody that you could do this? Or is there a purpose here? Is it helping you grow? Are you reaching people to help them grow too? So I love that. What do you think that separates people who are really go-getters and people who want to accomplish things and got that fire under the ass, than people that are just like complacent,
Sure. Well, I think there's a couple things. One, the ones that have the fire, they have that warrior. They understand their warrior and their beast, and they're tapping into that, right? So they're tapping into that beast, and they get it. And now passion is the other side, that heart side, right? So they understand that, and that's what I talk about living as a king. This is what I tell men, right? Live as the king, and that is the man who has his warrior and his lover integrated. We always, 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 and I'm going to say this, always, 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 Omar. This is one of those absolutes that doesn't, that it's an
eternal
absolute,
truth.
Right? The absolute is we lead with our warrior. Always lead with our warrior, because our warrior is the thing that makes things move. Courage and decision and ambition and drive and exploration and adventure and risk taking and all of those things. That's the beautiful side of masculinity, right? It's the beautiful side. We tap into that gets us moving forward. And then our lover side, our heart side, is wisdom. So wisdom comes from the lover side, the heart, compassion and creativity and playfulness and generosity and trust and inspiration and all of those beautiful things that make life so juicy, right? Come from the heart side. So you need both. But you lead the warrior. And when you have them both integrated, that's when you're living as a king. And I remind men, lion-hearted king, because the lion and the heart, right? And the lion leads. So when you're living as that lion-hearted king, and there are a lot of men who do this naturally, or they've been raised that way. That's the ones that are driven, that get moving. The men who lead with their heart, and they're very compassionate, and they're very, loving, and that's great. But when you lead with it, you're soft and you have no drive, you have no desire, right? You're not making decisions. You're wishy-washy. You're not moving yourself.
We all know that guy. We all know that guy.
Yeah.
Great guy, great, loving and everything.
Well, listen, they're but they're not going to get shit done.
Right.
So those guys are the ones that get it done. And then, so that's first of all, is be that lion-hearted king. And the second thing is, in terms of getting it done, you just spoke it with the guy that you mentioned that said, why are you doing this? Which was great, because he was just, asking really good questions. It's agenda versus purpose. And I tell this to men all the time in my work. Is it agenda or is it purpose? So what's the difference between agenda and purpose? Well, agenda would be, what value can I get from you? So when I look at guys on social media that are influencers and all of that, it's their agenda is how many likes can I get, and how many comments, and how many views, and how many of this, because it fills that hole in here, right? They're doing it for themselves. They're vampiring off of you to get their own thing. So that's agenda. So if I want to, if I'm helping a young woman, what's my agenda? Is it because I'm trying to get in her pants, or is it because from purpose? Now, purpose. So where agenda is, what value can I get from you? Purpose is, what value can I give you? Can I deliver?
I love that.
So that's where the ego hates purpose, right? What value can I give you? So if I agree to come on this show, it's because I'm here to provide value. I just want to provide as much value as I can. In the past, it would have been ego. Oh, I'm going to be on this podcast and people are going to see me. And it's no, it's just, what value can I deliver to people? Because my intention every day is move one man forward. So if that happens, great. Then I've achieved my intention for the day and provided value. So when you look at why you do the podcast, it would be, I want to provide value to people that are out there. That's why I have value here and I want to deliver it. That's why we write books, and that's why we write emails, and that's why we develop communities, and that's why we mentor others, is we want to provide value. What that comes down to is inner versus outer referral. So outer referral is, I want you to like me. I need you to like me. I need you to tell me that I'm good. I want to read in the comments after this, oh my God, Eric, you delivered such a great whatever. That's what the influencers are looking for, right? They want those comments like, oh, you're amazing. And they're feeding off of other people's attention. And that is outer referral. You need to love me. I'm in this relationship. I'm in this marriage because I need you to love me. I need you to tell me what a great man I am. I need you to tell me how great I am in bed. I need you to tell me how valuable I am, because they don't have inner referral, which is, I know I'm greatness. I love me. I'm all I need. I only need to love me. I know I'm valuable. I know I deliver value.
Right.
Difference. And so when you have that, you don't need the shit out here. Then you can just be more on purpose.
Yeah.
Because you're like, look, I'm just going to live my greatness. I'm just going to be who I'm going to be. And I don't need you to tell me who to be, what to be, that I'm valuable, that yada, yada, yada. Because what happens, Omar, if you are in a relationship or a friendship or a family that you feed off of, like, I need them to love me. I need them to tell me I'm great. I need them to tell me I'm valuable. I need them to tell me that I'm a good man. I need them this. And then one day they're gone. Now what? Now you're screwed.
Right.
You always have you.
Right.
And this is why, like, people will say to me, like, why do celebrities kill themselves? Like, why did, Anthony Bourdain, who I love Anthony Bourdain, was a hero of mine. Robin Williams, why do they kill themselves? Because they're looking out there to fill the hole in here. They need the applause, and they need the people to tell them how great they are, and they need to be in shows, and they need all of that. And then one day they realize, like, that's not it. I don't love me. I hate me.
Right.
Value myself. They don't know where to find that, right? And there are ways to find that. And it's one of the things we do in the, the Lionheart Challenge is, how do you get inner referral? Be your own man. And that goes back to that independent man.
Right.
Is strong, because I don't need you to tell me. I know. I guide me. So that becomes the purpose. And so those are the men, and it's a long way of answering your question, but those are the men who are self-driven because they are on purpose. They're living as a lion-hearted king, a right order masculine king. They have, they're driven and ambitious. They have the purpose, and they're inner referral. They're doing it from value, not from I need you. I'm doing it because I'm delivering value. So hopefully that answers your question on why some men do and some men don't.
Yes, absolutely. For me, I know guilt and shame was a big one for me, that held me back for a long time. It took me a while to figure that out. Like, that was stuff that was pressed upon me in society and stuff.
Sure.
But a
Well, who's
lot
the
of
only
it,
one that can make you feel guilty? Who's the only one that can make
right?
you feel shame?
Exactly. A lot
You.
of it also stems like from fear, right?
Mhm.
That fear that with the false entity appearing real, it's not
Mm.
even, it's but how about you, Eric? How do you deal with that? When something comes up, because there should be a few things only that you're really fearful of, which is like losing your life or something,
I'm
or
not even
someone like
fearful of
that.
that
But
because I don't believe this is it.
mm,
I believe this is we're just here right now fulfilling a test. We're banging out karma. We're just
mm,
here banging out karma. We're
I
going to
love
end up
that.
back where we started. But we came from source. We're going back to source.
Right.
So I don't think this is it. So I don't really fear death. If it's the time to go, it's time to go.
Mm,
Right.
mm.
And
How about in
I
some of
love
the projects that I'm sorry to cut you off, some of the projects that you're into, because you've accomplished quite a bit there. There's many people who don't do any half of those things, but I'm sure there was times when you'd be like, oh fuck, man, I don't think I could do this shit. Fuck.
Yeah. Well, listen, I was raised that way. So I was raised. So in the book, we talk about there's only two ways to raise a man in society. Only two ways.
Mhm.
One is in a culture of fear, and the other is in a culture of courage. And
Mm.
right now, most men are being raised in a culture of fear. Be afraid. Be afraid of this. This is going to kill you. Look, we had the pandemic, and they raised fear throughout the world. Everybody's going to die. Fear, right? It's fear mongering. And I was raised in fear. Rob, my mentor, was raised in courage. He was a cowboy. He was doing shit at 10 years old most grown men don't do.
Mm.
Right. And then he became a Marine. And I love, if you ever want to get inspired, go look up on YouTube and look up like Marine recruiting videos. They're amazing. And they
Mm.
talk about they're the ones that run toward the sound of gunfire.
Mm.
Doesn't mean you're not afraid. Doesn't mean there isn't fear, but courage
Mm.
is doing what needs to be done in the face of fear. And that's why courage is the first of our sacred 7 core values. Because if you don't have courage, you can't get anything done.
I love
Fear
that.
is going to rule you.
Mm.
So I look at fear and listen, I get afraid every day. There are things that scare the shit out of me, on a regular basis, but you don't let it take you down. You don't let it stop you. You look at it and go, well, why is that fear there? Fuck it. I'm going right into it. Right. Rob's thing, and it's one of the things he taught me is when I'm afraid, I go right into action. Like if something scares me, I got to go at it. And when we talk about, and then we say this in the book, courage is attention out. Right now, attention is everything, and you know that. Whatever your attention is on is this is something that's
Energy flows, right?
right? Whatever you put the most attention on is what the result you're going to see. So courage is attention out. I got to go after that thing, whatever that is. Like I got to do it. Fear is attention collapsing in. Right now, as men, if you look at men, we're outies, right? We right? Everything about the masculine and the warrior is outward. The feminine is inward. They're innies. So fear collapses us in. So in order to get over that fear, you've got to get your attention out, right? Because the minute you get in here, holy shit, this is going to kill me. What is that? It's bigger than me. I don't know what to do with that. That's dangerous. I need to, attention out. What is it? Can I go into that thing? If it's a collapsing building, I know I got to run, right? If it's someone's in trouble, I know I got to go there. I got to make this sales call or my family's going to starve. I need to go after it. Right? Those are the things that get us. Its attention is out. Get into courage. Tap into that courage and know that you need to do it and get it done. And listen, I will tell you from guys that have done the challenge, from guys that have done my work, that have been in the, in the brotherhood, when you face that fear and get over it, you're like, it's like the cold plunge you talked about. You're like, well, shit, I can pretty much do anything. Right? Here I go. I can do it all. So that to me is the biggest way to get out. Tap into courage. It's why it's the number one of the sacred 7, and know that it's attention out. Get your attention out onto whatever it is, not collapsing in here and being afraid. It's all right, attention out. So hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you so much. Amazing. We also do men's retreats, and I've been doing them for a while now. We have a few a year. We just had our first international retreat.
Nice.
Went to Dominican Republic, took some men, and unplugged, and we had a great time, man. We ate great food. We went hiking, went to a waterfall. We smoked great cigars. We ate great food and all that. But there was a lot of tears too, man. There was a lot of deep
Mhm.
work there, brother. Some of them were mine too.
Yeah,
It was powerful, and we need that as men to get away. So
sure.
we're having a men's retreat coming up now, and we're taking men away for a short time, just a weekend.
Yeah.
And it's quite intense. You never know how it's going to turn out or who's going to do what and stuff, but I feel that it's really, really needed,
Mhm.
in this society these days, man. Because if we just stay with the program, oh man, it's going to be ugly. So
Yeah, it has to. And the thing is that I love, because I do retreats as well, and I've done them. I like to take small groups of men. I don't like, I've seen these big retreats. I
yeah,
like when it's intimate and you
I've been
can
to some too.
get to know each other, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is doing it with these kind of things with other men is critically important. It's critically important. We as men, I always say to people, the only person who can create a king is another king.
Mm.
Period. I've had men come to me and say, "Well, my wife, she treats me like a king. She's made me a king." No, that's the outer referral shit. She's propping your ass up, right? The only person who can make a man a king is another king. Someone who's done it and knows it and has been on the path, is ahead of you on the path. I'm not saying they're perfect, because none of us are, but they're ahead of you on the path and they know where to guide you. That's the only one who can make you a king. Because then you'll have that inner referral. You're not going to need it from anybody out there, but they need that guidance. And so when we do these things as men, just men, only men, together, speaking, being real and raw and honest, without having to worry about repercussions or judgment or any of that. And when you bring the feminine into that, females, it tends to, everything changes. Guys get very guarded. They don't want to be vulnerable. They don't want. When you have just men, you can really get vulnerable and really do it. And so I tell guys, this is why I have the Bold Men Brotherhood, once a week. So it's only men in the room. We don't record it. There's no judgment. We go in, we talk about whatever needs to go, and then we move shit forward. And, like you said, it gets emotional. Listen, we're emotional beings. And I have seen men really tap into that emotion and let it out. I have done it myself. And it's very freeing, and you need to do it, in a strength, and I say strength, with strength. I call it being vulnerable from strength, because if it's whiny, cryy, oh, poor me, I can't believe it happened. It's when you're like, oh my God, I see what my parents did for me, or I understand now what it means. That emotion comes out. That is the most powerful, beautiful thing you can see.
Yeah.
And men will tend to only do that in a group of, powerful men that they feel comfortable doing it. So good on you for doing that stuff.
Thank you so much. I've had some powerful breakthroughs too. So it's kind of like if you buy a great pair of sneakers, wouldn't you tell me about it? And you take me to the store, or tell them, hey, tell them Eric sent you. So it's one of those, like, it helped me.
Yeah.
It worked for me. And you talk about that releasing, not being the whiny, being the, like, I've seen myself in those situations where, I'm letting out all of these emotions, man, but I'm fucking pissed, man. Like, how could I even allow myself to have done that and been in that situation? I'm getting up and I'm going to do something about it.
Yeah. And that's that anger I told you that gets shit done. Right. When you tap into that, because it's funny, because, we always talk about it like it's granite, like this, like, when you're drilling for oil and you got to go down through the layer of, of rock and stuff. And then you get down into it. That layer of rock has been built up inside of us forever. I mean, I know it was for me, and I would be doing the work, and I'm like, yeah, I don't feel anything. I'm just right, whatever. And then you start to tap into it, and then I would get sad, and then I would get pissed off. And that's when you hit it, right? And now I'm angry, and I'm like, oh, well, now I can do something about this. I can let that emotion out, and now I can be productive with it, right? I can be purposeful with it. And that's really, what we need to do as men, is tap into that more and more. But it's that doing it from strength, not as a victim, not as, oh, this shit was done to me, but as, hey, wow, man, okay, that got me sad. Or, I'm sorry that my dad died when I was young, or I'm sorry that, you know, I was, you know, my father was abusive or whatever the wound is that we talk about, not coming at it from victim, but coming at it from, wow, what did I get from that? What did I learn from that? Everything with my mom made me the man I am today. If she didn't raise me the way she raised me, I would never have rebelled against it and gone on this journey.
Right.
I thank her every day.
Right.
She passed away 20 something years ago. Every day, because it helped me become who I am. That releases a lot of the blame and the anger and the nonsense. Like I would take out my blame thrower, I call it, and just burn everybody to the ground. It's all their fault. They all did this to me. Well, that's weakness. That's victim. When you're a victim, you give everybody else your power. You got to take that power back. And the only way to take that power back is to own the shit that happened to you. Mom raised me that way. Okay. Well, she and I probably had a soul agreement, and she was going to do that, and they was going to turn me onto this path. And that's the karma we were banging out. Now I'm get to be who this is. Right. And so that's the thing. When I'm in that group, it's like not saying it from victim, but saying it from shit. Okay. I can feel this now. And here's where I'm going with it. Here's the motivation that I have now to get on that. And I can forgive them and I can forgive myself, and we can all move.
That's right. I love it. I love it. You know, one of the tools that I use is the breath work, like you spoke of too, you know, because we're cut from the same cloth. I can see that these are some of the power tools that I have in my tool chest. So the breath work alone, I try to have my breath work every day, man. So many things come up, so many ideas bubble up, so many emotions. Like, it's just super powerful, man, you know, and I love the other things that you're doing, like during the day and the list. I'm looking forward to receiving some of these tools.
Yeah, I'm going to send that to you. I think you're going to like it. It's the King's Daily Blueprint that kind of guides your day. Yeah. I think you'll love that. Yeah, absolutely.
And I can see also that you're a bit ahead of the game of leading men in these areas on a bigger scale and a wider reach, actually. So yeah, I'd love to get involved with what is it that you're doing and all of the practices, brother. I would love that, bro.
Yeah, man. Well, once we get done with this, you and I'll connect, and I'll introduce you to some of the work, and I will, you know, tell you what's going on, and love to have you do the challenge, and you know, I'd love to have some of your listeners do the challenge. Trust me when I tell you, it's one of those things where it's guided, you know, self-guided. You get the email every day, and you're responsible and committed to do it. But there's also an online community where you can get on and you can ask questions and you can see what other guys have done and, you know, kind of tap into that as well. So it's good for some men, because some men don't want to, they're not as, like, you're different. Like I always tell the guys that are in the work, you're like the 1%, right? Most guys are like, no, I'm good. I got it. I don't need, I'm okay. Oh, that's really interesting. I love what you said there. That was really fascinating. But no, I'm okay. But once you get into it, you're like, shit, man, this is really awesome. I've got all these men around me. We're standing shoulder to shoulder. We're going after this together. They're here to support me. And you can you can dip your toe is what I meant to say. You can dip your toe into it by doing the challenge, because you get an email once a day for 30 days. You do it. You want to jump into the community? Great. Jump into the community. And then from there, you're invited into the brotherhood. You have to do the challenge before you can come in the brotherhood. Because you have to understand, like, you know, all the structure of everything, and the sacred 7 and the 4 foundational archetypes and attention and courage. And then you can come in the brotherhood, and we do it that way. So yeah, I'd love to sit down with you and talk to you about it, man. And you know, see what we can accomplish together. Because listen, we're all rowing the same direction. More of us rowing, the faster we get there.
Right. I love that. So, you know, we're coming up close to the hour. Perhaps you can leave us with something strong, like, or what is your vision of the future in the legacy that you're looking to leave with the organization?
Absolutely, man. This is something that we look at all the time. Actually, funny enough, in the challenge, one of the things that you do is create your own vision, right? And so, you know, my vision, my legacy is a world of bold men living and leading unapologetically as their own greatness and guiding other men to their greatness, because I see it as a generational impact. And that's our duty. And it's our legacy to create great men, stand beside them, and let them become the leaders of the future. So that this just goes generation to generation to generation. And then that's really what it is for me.
I love that. I love that, man. It's super powerful. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your energy and everything. I
Thanks.
appreciate. Yeah, man. I
I
was looking
appreciate the
forward to this.
invitation. Like I said, I'm honored to be here and be able to talk to your guys and hopefully provide some value for them. Hopefully people guys get some stuff out of this that'll move them forward.
Most definitely. Definitely. I'm going to close the show and keep talking to you behind the scenes. But for now, thank you for tapping in. Check out this great brother, Eric, here. He has a powerful book on Amazon. You could find it there, Lions Raised as Lambs. There you have it. Until the next time, peace.